Going back to some basics, let's retry the 2 and Out by Casino Quest. Hey everyone, it's Mike. Welcome back to my channel. So I'm doing a little cleanup work because I just purchased a new laptop and it should be in the next few days. And I've just been cleaning up my channel a bit, and I went back and looked at some of my early videos, and some of them are pretty nasty looking. The audio is really bad, and it seems like the introduction drags on forever. So I'm going to redo a couple old videos, and the first one I'm going to do is a strategy that I found on Casino Quest's website, on their YouTube channel, and it's called 2 and Out. And the whole idea about this strategy is to get 2 hits and then use the winnings from those 2 hits to get out of the hand. In other words, play with your winnings, get your original bankroll back in your rack, play with your winnings, and then play a collect and press strategy. So let's go ahead and set this up for you, and we'll walk through it. I'm going to go ahead and play on a $500 Bubble Craps. I do want to be in turbo mode. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to play the outside numbers. And I believe the reason for this is even though the 6 and the 8 roll more frequently over a large sample size, the 4, the 5, the 9, and the 10 pay a little bit more. And our goal here is to get 2 quick hits and get a maximum payout so that we can then get out of the hand and play with our winnings. So what we're going to do is we're going to get a point established. We don't like to play the pass line, so we're going to go ahead and roll for a point, assume someone else is rolling, and there's an 8, so the puck moves to the 8. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to put $25 on the outside, and we're going to bump the 5 and the 9 up to 35. So we have 120 on the outside. 120 on the outside. We're looking for 1 hit here. And you know what? I'm just going to make these place bets just for now so that we can see how the payout looks. Now there's a 6. That's not going to help us. Let's go ahead and keep rolling. There's a 7 out. So we need to start over again. This is why we bring 500 to the table. Let's go ahead and roll for a point. There's a 4. Puck moves to the 4. Let's go ahead and get set up again. 25 on the outside. Bump the 5 and the 9 up to 35. 120 on the outside. And there we go. There's a 9. Well, I forgot to move these to the place bets. So these were buy bets, and the buy bets win just a little bit more. So about a $50 win. $49 to $50 is what we should win here. At this point, we'll take those winnings, take everything down, and go to 160 across. So if you just take your $25 chip, go across, and you now have 25 across with your 6 and 8 capped to 30. And we're looking for another hit here. And there's the 8. So there's 35. So now I've got $50 and $35. I got about $85 here. And the idea here is with the $85, we can either go with a 66 across strategy, or we can add a little bit, maybe go to a 96 across strategy. If I go down, and let's just see what that looks like. There's 64 across. I could do 64 across. And what did I say, 96? So let's keep going. And there's 96. So I've got 85. I can either play 64 across with my winnings, or I can take a little bit of my bankroll and play 96. Since I'm down 120, why don't we just go ahead and go to the 96 and try to get our $120 loss back up to break even. So what we'll do here is we'll play a collect and press strategy. So the next hit I will collect. So there's a 5 that wins 21. I will collect that. The next hit I will press. And it's a 7 out. So I'm down. Not quite as bad as my first 7 out where I lost 120. There I lost 108. So let's get set back up. Let's go ahead and try this one more time. Let's go ahead and roll for a point. The point will be a 9. Let's go ahead and set up 25 on the outside. Bump the 5 and 9 to 35. And let's go ahead and try to get that first hit. There's an 8. As we've kind of seen here, the 6s and the 8s will roll more often than the 4, the 5, the 9, and the 10. If you look at our roll distribution, you can see that. But the philosophy here is the 4, 5, 9, and 10 will pay a little bit more, and we're trying to get those 2 hits and get out. So there's the 10, that pays almost 49. So let's take everything down and go to 160 across, which is basically 25 across with a cap on the 6 and 8 to 30. And that's a standard 160 across. Everyone plays this. Let's get our second hit. There's a 3. It doesn't help. And there's an 8. So now if you look again, we've got about 49 and 35. So $84. $84. We could play the 64 across, or take some money out of our rack and play the 96 across. Or if you, since we are down, maybe we try to get one more hit and then go to a 96 across. So there's the 6. I'm sorry, there's the 5. So that helps us. That wins us 36. So let's take everything down. Let's go to 96 across, which is basically 15 across with caps on your 6 and 8. So we've gone from a 25 down to a 15. And the goal here is play with your winnings, put your 500 back in your rack, and try to run this up with a hot shooter using a collect and press strategy. So our first hit here, we will collect. Okay, there's the 9. That wins $21. We're going to collect that. Next hit, let's try to press. Oh, the puck was off. Okay. So now the puck is back on the 6. Let's continue. We're going to press. There's the 4. So 29 and 21 is about $50 here. So we've got $50 that we can power press with. If you want, we can take everything up by 5, 1 unit, 5, maybe 6 on the inside. So just go across 5. Okay. And let's go ahead and roll. This next hit will be a collect. There's a 3. There's a 6. We'll collect that. And then the puck is off. We need another point. Let's go ahead and roll for the point. There's the 5. The puck moves to the 5. Our next hit, we will press or power press. So last time we pressed 1 unit across. Let's go ahead and at least get a number first. There's a 4. So now let's go ahead and press. Let's go ahead and press 2 units across. So we got the 5 highlighted. Let's go 1, 2. Okay. And now we're going to collect. There's an 11. There's the 9. Now that's going to win us $43. Let's think about this now. We're going to collect that. Our next hit, we would typically press and try to run this up. Our first press was 1 unit. Our second press was 2 units. You know, I'm a little on the conservative side. If I hit another number and I decide to press, I may just press 1 unit and try to lock in more of the winnings. Let's see if we can do that. Okay, there's the 5. Okay, so I've got $216. So my original 500 is back in my rack. I'm playing with 216, and I've got 192 of that in play right now. That was the point, so the puck's off. So we're going to have to hit another. We're going to have to get another point established. And there's the 8. So now the puck moves to the 8. So I've got $216 in winnings. I've got 192 of it in play right now. If I go ahead and press 1 unit, I am now $224 across. So I've had to take a little bit of money out of my original $500 bankroll. So, but that's okay. Not that much. What? Less than $10. So let's go ahead and roll, and we will collect. There's the 3. That doesn't help us. There's the 4. That wins. And we'll collect that. And the next hit we'll either press or maybe we'll come down because I am trying to lock in some profits here. So let's go ahead and get a hit here. Oh, nope, there's a 7 out. Okay, so after all of that, 29 rolls, we started out with a really bad loss of 120, and then our second shooter made up a little of it, and our third shooter made up most all of it plus $60. Okay, so we could have tried to lock in more profits and not power pressed as much, or maybe just stayed 1 unit instead of going up 1 unit then 2 units. Maybe just go up 1 unit and maybe do 2 collects in 1 press, whatever you feel like doing. But here again, the goal to this strategy, the 2 and out strategy, is basically to get 2 quick hits on the outside numbers since they pay a little bit more, and then using those winnings, go ahead and do a collect and press strategy and try to run this up. So we're at 11 minutes. Let's try 1 more shooter. Let's see if we can't at least get over $100 in winnings. So let's get a point. Okay, there's a 6. Now let's go ahead and set up with 25 on the outside, and let's bump the 5 and the 9 up to 35, and that would be 120. I'm going to make these place bets just to see if the payouts are the same. Let's go ahead and roll. There's the 10. That wins $45. And I think the 35 on the 6 and 8 may win, is it 7 to 5? May win $42. So let's go ahead and take this down and go to 160 across, which is $25 on the, whoops, take it down, $25 across. And let's get 1 more hit. Okay, so now we've got 35 and 45. We have $80. Okay, so $80, you want to take that down and you want to go 64 across. We do have 140 total in winnings. Maybe we'll go ahead and go to 96 across. Okay, let's go ahead and get a hit here. There's a 6. We'll collect that. And then that's the point. The puck goes off. Let's get a point. There's the 4. Puck moves to the 4. Our next hit we will press. And there's the 8. So now I'm at 182. I'm going to go ahead and press 2 units across. Okay? So I've got $182 and I've got 160 of it in play. So I'm still positive. I'm still out of the hand, but I'm going to collect. And there's the 10. I'll collect that. And if you want to, we could play a collect twice, then press. So there's our first collect. Let's collect again. There's the 4. And now our next hit we will press. That's the point. So let's go ahead and get a point established. There's a 4 again. Puck moves back to the 4. Our next, let's go ahead and get our next hit, which is a 5. And now we can start being a little more aggressive. We've got $316 to play with. We've got 160 of it in play. Let's go ahead and press another 2 units across. 1, 2. Now I've got $224 in bets. I'm still almost $100 in profits. Let's see if we can't go ahead and collect here. There's the 5. We do collect. And let's go ahead and roll again, and maybe we'll be a little more aggressive and continue pressing. There's another 5. So there's $100 very quickly. So we've got $418. We've got 224 in bets. Let's go another 2 units across. Now I've got 288 units. $288 in play. 418 total. So about $130 in profit. So let's go ahead and hit and collect. There's a 3, no help. And there's the 7 out. Okay, so we're still up $130. Not bad. But that's kind of the strategy. Obviously, when you play a collect and press strategy, you're hoping for that shooter that can shoot a lot. That shooter rolled 14 times. If that shooter would have rolled 21 times like the shooter before, we would have definitely been closer to the $500 mark in profits. So that is one of my first videos that I found on Casino Quest called 2 and Out. And I'm going to look for another variation of this and maybe try another session. But for now, I think that's where we're going to leave it. Hope everyone's having a great day. And as always, thanks for watching.